Well, it is the 3rd of July, just one day removed from the American Independence Day, 4th of July. This is the Wrestling Guild presented by SLTD Wrestling, where you can get all your wrestling-related news, and you can get podcasts of various kinds. You can find us on Stitcher, on Spreaker, on any place you get podcasts these days. Just look for the SLTD Wrestling Podcast. My name is Chris Mary Hoffman. With me, I have Nick Anderson. And today we're going to talk about Impact from just a couple of days ago. Right, Nick?
Yep. We're just going to hop into
it. We're just going to hop into it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on a sec. I'm going to get my notes, because this is the kind of professional business that we run here. So we're going to talk about Impact from the 28th of June, right? So how did you like this Impact?
It was okay.
It was okay?
Nothing too special. We had some good matches here and there, but I think we've seen better, and I was expecting maybe some more action. Maybe some matches were a bit slow, some were a bit weird. So, yeah.
I think overall the problem with this episode, I mean, obviously they're building up to Slammiversary. Slammiversary is this month, 26th of July. The one thing that I found was that, I mean, they were pushing a lot of storylines forward, so we got a lot of that, but we didn't get a lot of, like, it just didn't feel like we were moving forward in the pace that we wanted to. It didn't just feel like there wasn't that much action going on.
Yeah, exactly.
And whenever, like, because you have the feud with Pentagon Jr. and Sami Callihan, and you have the feud between Eddie Edwards and Tommy Dreamer, but we got such little aspects of those two matches. I mean, I would have wanted to seen more intensity, but we'll get to that when we get to those parts. Now, I did not watch Impact on the GWN network this time. I actually watched it live on TV, which I can do because I'm in the States, so that was kind of cool. Although that also meant commercial breaks.
Oh, well.
You can't have everything. But we started with a recap from the previous week, and for the first time, finally, we're somewhere else. Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Crowd was going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always a plus.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And I think this is where it started to... It started off slow, because Madison Rayne came out to cut a promo, talking about that she never intended to be active again. Talk about all the ones that she defeated, and that she wants to take the belt from Su Yung, right?
Exactly, yeah. And then you have Tessa coming out, and she goes at it, and she, like, trash talks Madison, and like you say, it was a bit slow, and maybe opening like a match like we were used to, really. I mean, like a fast-paced match would have been better.
Yeah. But anyway, Tessa is an excellent heel, I think, in all of this.
Absolutely, yeah, that's true. She knows what to do.
Yeah, and that's fun. Madison, she tells Madison she must be joking, that she will not capture the title from Su Yung, and that she was just lucky, that Madison was just lucky to defeat Tessa on those occasions. Basically, they challenged each other to a match, and that's the main event for the evening.
Yeah, it could. I mean, I was a bit interested in it because Tessa is really good, but we have seen some really good performance from Madison as well. So I was quite interested.
Yeah. No, I agree. This was, and I think actually what the match that they did have was one of the best matches of the evening. Then there's the Su Yung laughter, like we saw the week before, and Tessa takes Madison out with a stiff shot. That's basically what happens to end that segment.
Yeah.
And then we have something that people have been buzzing about, Rich Swann's debut. And he debuted versus Trevor Lee. We've seen on Zero Fear, which we are not talking about today, but we'll hopefully be talking about later this week. Hopefully, if you can find your notes.
Hopefully, yeah. I'm just gonna rewatch the whole thing.
Okay. Well, why not?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so Rich Swann. And the thing was that I remember I was on I was in a group chat many years ago, where people were talking about TNA back in the day. We were talking about who would be good people to bring into TNA, and I was saying Rich Swann already then, but nobody was paying attention but mostly because people don't. I mean, in those group chats, you'll often find that you talk to people that either watch WWE or they watch TNA and they don't watch much else, maybe Ring of Honor. And Rich Swann was just not featured on those. He was like an indie guy. He wrestled with Dragon Gate USA and Evolve and stuff like that. So you didn't see him that much. I mean, I thought that you should have brought in Rich Swann and Johnny Gargano and Sami Callihan and those guys, and Chuck Taylor even, like a long time ago into TNA to have made it, better. But anyway, but now he's here. How did you like Rich Swann's debut match versus Trevor Lee?
I mean, first when he came into the ring, he looked like a joke, but he is actually really, really good. Like, he knows what to do, and he is on the same level as Trevor. I think Trevor was having a hard time keeping up with Rich.
Yeah, and in the end, Rich Swann wins with a kind of second rope, kind of Phoenix splash type of move. I don't know what he calls it. But it was awesome. It was an awesome debut, and the crowd were going wild for both Trevor Lee and for Rich Swann.
Yeah, wow. Rich Swann wasn't that good in the beginning, though. I don't know if you saw that, but like in the beginning, he was a bit sloppy. It was a bit tired. I don't know what was going on. But then towards the end of the match, he really gave 100%.
Yeah. No, and I'm a little bit surprised at his hairdo, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
Then we had a clip from PCW Ultra, and this was like one of the first like two clips. They were going to show stuff from PCW Ultra. It was Callahan versus Pentagon Jr., but we didn't get like any backstory. It was I don't know if this was supposed to be Callahan versus Pentagon Jr. In a cage match that kind of went like to hell. But what we got to see was Sami Callihan attack Pentagon Jr. together with OVE and rip off his mask.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, I didn't know, like, they always say they're going to rip off his mask and whatnot, but they actually did it this time, and at the same time, Pentagon, like, saved his face, because he, like, plummeted to the ground, obviously. But it was cool that they actually did it, and they actually succeeded. I mean, that just shows that Sami Callihan just goes 100% and crushes everyone in his way.
Yeah. As I said, I would have maybe liked to see a little bit more storyline, or what this was. Was it a match, or was Pentagon fighting somebody else in the cage and Sami Callihan just came in? I guess I would have wanted some more background. Anyway, we get back to the command center. Josh Matthews and Don Callis are talking about the situation with the mask and how important it is the masks are.
Yeah, I mean, they take it really seriously. Like, oh, Sammy is such a bad person. No. I mean, come on. I mean, okay, it's not like Pentagon got stabbed. And I mean, and people don't know how he looks even now. I mean, he saved his face, so jeez, I mean, calm down.
Why so serious?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah.
Then we had the GWN moment of the week. This was actually a shorter GWN moment of the week than we've seen in the past. It was a King of the Mountain match. Raven versus Sean Waltman versus AJ Styles versus Abyss and versus Monty Brown, which I didn't realize he was like in the match a little bit later because he'd been knocked out first.
Yeah. It was such a crazy match. I mean, brutal, hard-hitting, not maybe that fast-paced as we're used to and have seen, but I mean, you have Abyss, it's a tank, and chairs left and right, and barbed wire. Jeez.
It was a good time. The King of the Mountain matches are always a lot of fun if you get the right people in it. I can't tell you how many King of the Mountain matches I've seen that have just been crazy. Raven wins this one. It was the first time he became champion in TNA. Fun to see. Vignette for the Desi Hit Squad basically came in after that.
Yeah.
And then
not much to say, really.
No, not about that. We'll see the Desi Hit Squad in a moment here. But first, Grado is in the back, being surprised by Katrina.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that. So watch, he's just like chilling there, and she comes from nowhere, and then he's like, "Oh, you're my love," and what?
Well, the point was that she was just saying that she was going to have a match next week, and he's just like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I've been champion twice." She's been Knockouts champion twice when she was under the name Winter. And he's just like, "Oh, I recognize you. Is that you?" And she didn't look that much different. Anyway, just a little fun. This is a better way to, I think, introduce that somebody's going to have a match the following day or the following week, I think. Then.
Yeah.
Then we have Gama Singh in the ring. Obviously, Gama Singh is Canadian or Indian Canadian, so that might be one of the reasons we haven't seen Gama Singh with the Desi Hit Squad on these Twitch specials or one night only, because maybe he can't travel from Canada to these other places in America. So he introduces the Desi Hit Squad, and it's Desi Hit Squad versus Z and E in the match. How did you like this?
It was a cool match. I mean, DJ Z and Amber gave 100%, and they did really well. I mean, wow. I mean, I'm not really big of a fan of Andrew. He's like a Trevor Lee-ish kind of clone. Just doesn't talk and looks that. Yeah, he looks a little bit better, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Andrew, not big of a fan. DJC, totally okay. But this match, wow, they gave 100%. They actually went for the Desi Hit Squad and kind of wrecked them.
I know. Of course, it's difficult to say what you're supposed to do in this situation. Now, this is the first time the Desi Hit Squad was actually on Impact television. Otherwise, they've always been on the one night onlys and stuff like that. So you don't want them to lose, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But Z and E were just world heavyweight champions or tag team champions, so you really can't have them lose either if they're going to be a credible team. Plus, obviously, Z and E so much better than Desi Hit Squad.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
And Z and E really showed it. Like their moves, they're crazy. Whatever they just, yeah. It was. I don't know what to say. It was just crazy stuff that they do in the ring. In the end, though, Gama Singh, as Andrew Everett is pinning one of the members of the Desi Hit Squad, Gama Singh is up on the apron, talking to the ref. The ref has his attention somewhere else. Roll up from the Desi Hit Squad, and Z and E lose. Desi Hit Squad win. With a simple roll up.
I mean, they really deserved it, like straight up.
Yeah,
they really deserved it. But like you said, you can't have them lose.
No. Then we had a promo from Pentagon Jr. This is, obviously scary and like it's supposed to be. He calls for a hair versus mask match against Sami Callihan. And they really put emphasis on Sami Callihan's hair. Did you? Even in when he attacked Pentagon Jr., they were just like, "Oh, there he is with his long, greasy hair. He's had it his entire life." Like, I guess obviously they have to put more importance into his hair, but I don't think they've ever paid any attention to Sami Callihan's hair before.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, but I mean, it could be interesting, but I don't know. When Pentagon talks, I mean, yeah, it's scary and it's like up and close and personal. But I mean, it's not as good as like when you have Eli like talking.
No.
So, but I guess you can't expect that. But it's like it's okay, but not really. I don't know. It doesn't really convince me. But.
Vignette for Moose. They talk about Moose and his history. Getting a little bit of humanity behind Moose, and that's kind of cool.
That was really cool.
And then we had the second kind of like clip that was from a different place, House of Hardcore. Eddie Edwards comes in and attacks Tommy Dreamer and just busts him open.
Yeah, I mean,
blood everywhere.
Insane.
He just whacks him in the head with a kendo stick, carves him up, and leaves. Moose follows Eddie and tries to talk sense to him, but he doesn't. He won't have it.
Nope. I mean, Eddie just does it so good as well. He does it so well. It's beautiful. Like the way he acts and the way he goes from like a babyface to a heel. Oh, it's been awesome. Really a big plus.
I think the best part is that it's kind of been like his transition from a babyface to a heel is actually because he was a babyface and then like Sami Callihan messed him up, and that kind of pushed him over the edge. That kind of storytelling is, I think, hard to do in a good way, and they managed to do it.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Then we had LAX in the clubhouse having They're having a party. Conan interrupts the party and accuses King of taking him out, and King is not gonna have it. Basically,
I don't know. I mean, it was pretty cool though. I mean, I still like because King is still convincing me, but at the same time, he is fishy. Because like King is like, well, I fixed everything for you. Where were you? You were in the hospital. Come on. And then Conan is like, no, I ain't having this. So, really, really, really interesting. I like this storyline, really.
No, me too. I do like it, and be interested to see where it's going. Then we had Desmond Xavier. Then we had Desmond Xavier versus Matt Sydal. Awesome. There was like an interview with Jimmy Jacobs about Matt Sydal. I guess Jimmy Jacobs has worked a lot with Matt Sydal in developing his character from going from like a high flyer, not so good talker to like a kind of like a heelish. I mean, Matt Sydal has been like a babyface almost his entire life.
Oh, okay.
And now he's becoming a heel, and he's becoming quite a good heel.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's Jacob's work here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Excellent match. In the end, Sydal wins with a pump handle pin, his new move that he does. Brian Cage comes out. He wants the X Division title that he didn't really feel like he lost because it was a disqualification.
No, it was disqualification, but it wasn't really my fault. So, yeah. Jeez.
And
but it doesn't end there, because then Mr. Congo and Jacobs comes out.
Yep.
They're
not having it. Congo Kong. Brian Cage is attacked by both Congo Kong and Matt Sydal, and Congo Kong flattens him with a splash. So actually, and this is interesting because they've built up Brian Cage to be quite the monster, and he's being taken out by Congo Kong, which makes Congo Kong even a bigger monster.
Exactly. I mean, that was well done. But the thing is, what's going to happen now? Is Brian Cage gone now, or is he still going to go for Congo?
I think that we're going to see Congo Kong versus Brian Cage first before I think we see Matt Sydal versus Brian Cage again.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Oh.
Hmm? Then we have Sami Callihan cutting a promo saying he accepts the challenge from Pentagon Jr. and that he's going to take the mask off of Pentagon Jr.
I mean, is Sammy now finished with Eddie? Is that storyline like
done? That storyline I think is pretty much done.
Yeah, I was about to say because he doesn't really care that much about Eddie anymore.
No,
and Eddie doesn't really say so much about Sammy anymore either.
No.
So yeah, okay.
And then an interview with Austin Aries. This is kind of fun because he called the Alicia Atout, I think her name is, or something like that, which is a kind of a new presenter in the back that they've hired. So they're gonna have 2 interview girls, Mackenzie Mitchell and this Alicia.
Okay.
He just calls her New Girl. He says that Moose is on his second chance, and that Aries has done this. This is his first chance, his first career, and he's got titles, and Moose has nothing.
Yeah, and he's like on top of the food chain. He's he's being hunted, and he's not hunting, and yada yada yada. But I mean, he does it well, though. I mean, you gotta give it to him, Austin. Well,
absolutely. And then we get to the main event, which is Tessa Blanchard versus Madison Rayne. As we said, probably the best match of the evening.
Definitely. I mean, you have it was an awesome and long match. I love when there's a long match because you can really take in so much and it won't be like fast paced and like put on to you in 10 minutes and they try to squeeze in as much moves as possible. Here they give you a long ass match so you can chill, relax, and see everything. And I mean, both Tessa and Madison are on the same level.
Absolutely.
If not, Madison is even better. I mean, I'm really surprised. I don't know, this Madison girl is really doing great.
And in the end, a lot of back and forth. Not really sure who's going to win. Madison Rayne hits the crucifix bomb with a pin for the win. Like a quick win. Tessa's surprised. She attacks Rayne and is about to hit her with a chair when Su Yung interrupts.
Yeah.
With her dead bridesmaids.
Yeah, she's not having it. She's like, coming out. And it was so good, this segment. Yeah, she comes out and she's just about to like end Madison's like suffering and just kill her.
Yeah.
But then Allie comes out to the rescue. And it's like the nice Allie, the cute Allie.
Yes. So she comes out for the same. I thought it was fun that Tessa Blanchard just like kind of bailed too. She's just like, yeah, no, I'm out of here.
You know what? You guys can settle this yourselves. I'm out.
Yeah. So, and that ends the show. Lots to build upon, to continue. We have a couple more episodes, couple of more weeks before Slammiversary.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good. That's going to be awesome.
I mean, it's just so amazing that's already Slammiversary once again. That's just blowing my mind. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome.
Interesting. So, what would you give this show, this episode?
I mean, it was a good. I mean, it is a good episode. I'm not saying it's bad, but at the same time, we have seen better. But at the same time, the main event was good. So maybe like a C+.
I'd go with a C. I think I'd go with a solid C. Okay. Even though there was at least the Rich Swann match was fun. I mean, the matches that we saw were fun. But in the end, I had a hard time holding my interest through the whole show.
Okay. Sure.
So, Nick, that's another one in the books. Maybe we'll talk about Zero Fear on maybe Friday or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we have to get that sorted.
Yes, you have to get it sorted.
I have to get it sorted. Yeah, but at the same time, it wasn't that many matches though, and a few.
No, they're not that many. No, they're a bit longer, I think, but.
Yeah. But I mean, we have some Rich Swann, we have a lot of new people as well, like someone called Austin something and whatnot. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, Nick, that was all for today. Everybody who is in the States and are about to celebrate Independence Day, Stay safe, stay frosty. Yeah, you can find the Wrestling Guild on Stitcher, on SoundCloud, and on YouTube. And we are available on sltdwrestling.com every Thursday. Like a week from when Impact has aired. Our show is up on both Sprecher and on sltdwrestling.com. You can hear us Tuesdays on SoundCloud and on YouTube and on Stitcher.
Wow.
Yeah. But for Nick Anderson, my name is Chris Mary Haltman, and we will see you next week.